Hey everybody, this is Chad from Stick's Blog. I'm Stick. This morning I just kind of wanted to go over some of the gear that I used on the recent trip that I just took. I actually just got back last night about 8:30. Me and my wife and a buddy of mine, we went to the Smokies for 2.5 days. And I just kind of wanted to briefly go over some of the there's a lot of new gear that I've acquired in the last few months, and I haven't got to use it a whole lot, so I just kind of wanted to hit on some of the highlights of some of it, just kind of share some of my thoughts and how I felt that it did for me. So just kind of so you know, my overall total pack weight was right at 25 pounds. That included pretty much everything, including both mine and my wife's food. My food bag with all of our food in it together for 2.5 days was right at a little over 9 pounds. I had about 14 ounces of fuel, and then I typically carried 1 liter of water on me at a time. So like I say, all of that, all those consumables with my normal stuff weighed right at 25 pounds. Just starting off with my pack, as you'll see in some of the videos I'll post later, my new pack is the ULA Circuit. I'm very happy with that. It did great. It carried well. It held all my stuff well. I could have easily fit more stuff in it. I actually stuffed my sleeping bag kind of in a large stuff sack so that it would help take up room. And actually probably a third of the room, if not a little more of the room in my pack, was actually from my sleeping bag. And like I say, my sleeping bag will compress way more than what it was, so I'd have plenty of room in that pack. But it rode well. I never had any problems with the hip belts being too stiff like I feared that I might. I did cinch the lower buckles. There's 4 cinch straps on it. I did cinch the lower buckles down more than I did the top buckles, so that whenever the buckles were tight, it kind of maybe sat out just a little bit to kind of accommodate some of my belly. But it did great. I did have a little bit of pain across the shoulders the second day, but the second day was rough altogether. We had a whole bunch of snow we was hiking through, and I had everything cinched down pretty tight, trying to keep the pack close to me so that it wouldn't move around while I was trudging through the snow. But actually I don't even have any of that pain today, so it was very minimal at the most. But the pack did great. It held everything. I was able to access everything that I wanted to when I wanted to. I'm really happy with my pack, and I think this is totally going to be the pack for me. The only problem that I might have with it is whenever it gets warmer, it might actually be too big, and I may actually have to go to a smaller pack. So anyway, moving on down, my tent, I took the 6 Moon Designs Lunar Duo. It did good. I like it for as far as room. The first night I camped between 2 creeks, and I had extreme amounts of condensation on the inside as well as on the outside. The second night we was up on the side of a mountain, kind of a little ways from the creek, so it was completely dry. The first night I slept with both the doors zipped down. The second night I slept with both the doors zipped up, and there was a lot more wind the second night. Finding a place to pitch the tent can actually be a little bit of a problem just because it's got such a large footprint. But overall I'm happy with it. I'm still going to have to figure out a way for the floor. I really wish there was a way to stake the floor down so that the floor wouldn't move around. I'm not worried about stuff sliding around on the floor as much as I am as the whole floor moving. I'm not a big fan, I don't think, of the floating floor, but I'm going to see how that works. I'm going to see if I might can fix it. But otherwise I'm still happy with it. I'm still going to give it some more use and see what my overall thoughts are. I got to wear my Go Light, my Tumalo jacket a little bit. No rain really, it was just in some snow and stuff, and I ended up unzipping the pit zips. It seemed to have been okay. I finally took it off, well, not very long, but I did. When I took it off I felt a little bit, the inside was kind of wet, so that's still kind of up for see how well that jacket does. But overall I'm happy with it as far as pack size and weight, and I have worn it on other occasions out in the rain, and it did a great job at keeping the rain off of me. My cloud kilt, been a lot of discussion about that lately. I haven't used it as far as rain, but I used the far out of it for sitting in the snow or sitting on the ground this weekend. It's really handy. I I'm really happy with it. That's going to definitely be a piece of my kit for sure. I'm just happy with it for the simple fact that it's a ground sheet, but also I do have a lot of faith in it as far as a kilt as well. My UL down inner jacket did great. I'm extremely happy with the way it sheds wind. I can't hardly feel any wind blowing, even in some pretty hard winds. I can't feel any wind coming through, and I'm constantly getting more and more impressed with that Montbell UL down inner jacket, and I would recommend it to anybody. I used my white box stove with my GSI kettle. It did great. I didn't measure out fuel. I just kind of eyeballed it. I have a 4-ounce bottle, and I would kind of eyeball it. I would put about a third of the 4-ounce bottle in, so it was probably around 1.5 ounces that I used to bring about a quart to boil each time. And that was pretty good in the cold weather that we had, and then there was actually some wind on the second day. But I'm still very happy with it. I'm going to keep it, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the stove that I'm going to use on my through hike. But I may change. I may get a different pot to go with it rather than the kettle, just in case. I'm still debating. My Z-Packs Blast food bag, it did great. It held everything. Not much, a whole lot to say about it. I'm just happy with it. I'm glad that I've got it. I got to use my Mora clipper. I used it to not really split some wood, but I had to shave off a bunch of pieces of wood, try to get a fire started the first night we were out. But it did good. It's still got an edge on it. Just easy to use. I'm happy with it. The Instaflator, I haven't done a video on it. I'm going to do it completely, a whole nother video on it sometime. I like it, but I'm still trying to figure out if it's worth the trouble of bringing it along. I think it's going to be more so a winter thing, just to kind of help keep the moisture out of my sleeping pads. I don't know if I'll carry it around much during the summer, but I'll get on that. The stick pick, it worked out great, and I'm using it right now to do this video. I will say that I didn't use it as much as I thought I would, simply because my trekking poles were just always filthy, muddy, and had a lot of snow and stuff on it. So a lot of times I actually held the camera in my hands and did the video. But it's still a handy little tool, and it's going to stay in my kit, I think. But I will say I didn't use it quite as much as I thought I would. I used some wet fire to try to get a fire started the other night. I'm not really impressed with wet fire. When I use all of it, I'll probably try something different. I might try some of the Esbits or something. Just as an emergency fire tender, I'm not as happy with the wet fire as I thought I would be. The Petzl E-Light, I'm going to do a whole nother video on that, so I'm not even going to discuss much about that right now. With my camera, I'm very happy with it. It did great. It was nice just having a good camera I could rely on, that I know I can get good shots with. I liked it for the video. The one thing that I do have complaints about the camera is I thought that when I bought it, I thought that I would be able to zoom while taking video, and obviously you can't do that. So I've come to find out that while doing videos, I pretty much have to keep it at a certain distance. If I'm trying to zoom in on something, or if I get real close to something, it'll be out of focus. But otherwise, I do like the camera. I'm very happy to have it. And last, I want to just mention my new trekking poles. I got the Leaky Cork-Glide Argon Speed Lock trekking. That's a big old long name. Anyway, my new poles, I'm very happy with them. They held solid like a rock. I put a lot of weight on them, and they did not budge. So I'm very happy with them. This is the first time I got to use them. I like the way the handles feel. One thing I don't like is on the bottom of the handles, and I'll probably do a little video kind of show off some of that, but the bottom of the handles is it just cuts off, and it's kind of an opening. It's not rounded and smooth. I'll have to show you, it's harder to explain. But one thing I will watch for is the baskets on the end. That seems to be the first thing to go on the trekking poles. And these, after this one trip, like I say, about 27 miles, 26 miles, you can tell there's some good wear to them already. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. But anyway, that's just kind of a general overview of some of the newer gear that I used. I've got a whole lot of videos I've got to upload, a lot of pictures I got to upload, and I figure I'll be doing that for the rest of the week. I don't know when I'll get it all done. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to share some of those general thoughts with you, and go ahead and get those posted. If you have any questions about anything specific, just post a comment below, and I'll see what I can do to help answer it. And until then, thanks for watching.